According to the United Nations, approximately 2 billion people did not have access to safe and nutritious food in 2019, and more than 690 million people were undernourished, mainly in Asia and Africa. Why should my students care, and what can we do to help? Over 200 international students move through my program in a year. And a guiding principle I keep in mind while teaching with the Sustainable Development Goals is global to local. Many of the students are unfamiliar with the SDGs, their overall importance and necessity, and their place in an ESL classroom. I am Tracy Bhoola, and I have taught English as a second language for over 20 years. I would like to share how I infuse SDG number 2, Zero Hunger, in an ESL classroom. So where do I begin? First, it's important for me to begin where my students are at, recognize gaps in knowledge, and build from there. Infusing the SDGs must happen with a communicative approach through a lens of compassion and tolerance. When we explore Zero Hunger, it's in connection with a textbook chapter and a hyperdoc, an interactive digital lesson plan that I created. This lesson advances my students' knowledge of one of the 17 SDGs that we study and allows them to learn and explore it globally and experience it locally. In previous classes, I introduced the SDG topic by determining what the students know about food and hunger. They read and analyze the chapter and continue to build vocabulary, reading and listening comprehension, and critical thinking skills with other articles and worksheets. Then, I introduced the hyperdoc, Our Relationships with Food. Together, we review the entire hyperdoc and then begin with photos to elicit their opinions, make comparisons, conduct discussion, and then shift to vocabulary activities. Then comes an opportunity for individual learning. Here, I give students the autonomy to choose, explore, and respond to any of the curated food sustainability videos. Next, students listen to and take notes on stories from around the world about farmers of all ages supporting goal number 2. After viewing, students write a one-page reflection paper. Then, students continue independently or with a partner to either read articles or watch videos about the cycle of eating and its impact, and then use their notes to complete a digital worksheet. Next, to further develop knowledge, understanding, and background information, the students choose more advanced, curated academic articles and videos related to food waste, disappearing insects, and the impact of food choices, and how these relate to them and to goal number 2. Then, I have students assess their learning by applying a Think, Write, Share activity in which they think about and respond in writing to specific questions I pose. They share in a small group, and then we share and discuss as a whole class. The final activity is to go on a virtual field trip and explore Canadian farms and food tours across Canada so that the students can see support for a sustainable development goal in action in real time. Then, to wrap up the whole unit, students create a video based on 5 activities they would do to support sustainability. And then in partners, they present to the whole class. My students have left their home countries and traveled across the world alone to learn English and much more. I choose to infuse the SDGs into my lessons because it's a privilege to guide students through their critical thinking and learning with the hope that they travel on to their next destination, whether it be academic or professional, more informed, more critical, and more involved in supporting the SDGs as individuals, as community members, and perhaps one day as global leaders. I invite you to consider your class content, your ideas, and how you can infuse the Sustainable Development Goals with your students to inspire action and the change that we all need. What will your teaching legacy be?